I'm Jimmy.
I'm Nick.
Welcome to How We Build It. Today we are looking at a very red Time
Scylon
1x road bike.
Yes.
Which is controversial in some circles.
Yes. Yeah. Loads of people. The ratios are there. This guy is a good customer of ours, Nick. He's rides with the club. I gave him the option of both, but tried to explain to him that unless you're a World Tour sprinter, you don't really need a double.
Yeah.
That top ratio. So he's running a 44-tooth ring, and it's got a 10.
Before you get into that, and we'll come back to that because this is really, really important. This is the most unique headset I've ever seen in my life.
So, Time actually, there's a thread onto the stereo tube of the fork, and then instead of having a stereo bung that can slip to do your preload, you actually thread the headset top cap onto the fork, and that preloads the tension.
So the bearings are fully loaded and tensioned, whatever the words are, without there being any stem on it at all. And so you'll see here actually, when you put the top cap in, it literally just goes boop,
just slips in,
and then the stem bolts just kind of
holds it in. But also it means if he goes on holiday, which he's planning on doing quite a lot, and trips, when he puts in a bike bag and takes it off, he's never gonna have to worry about has he tensioned his. Because there's no actual, people don't know this, but there's not an actual torque rating for the top cap.
Right.
You have to torque it up until the play is taken away, but not too much to crush the bearings.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, but if some bikes are different, on Look 795s, it's up to 12 Newton meters. Some bikes it's 2 Newton meters.
Right.
So it's not it depends on case to case and what condition the bearing's in. Where that you don't have to worry about it.
That's definitely something I've never seen before. It makes sense. I imagine it's an engineering nightmare, which is why it's just not standard. But that's the beauty of Time bikes.
Most frame manufacturers don't make forks; they buy forks from somewhere else. So there's a company where Time actually they do their carbon frames completely different to everybody else. They've got a loom. So what they do is, Giant for instance will have sheets of carbon that's cut. And you get different carbons. You get like Toray carbon and 1K. There's different weaves and things like that. Where Time actually weaves the carbon on like a loom, similar to a sock.
Right.
And then there's really good videos online about it. It's a cold wax mold, and it's basically like seamstress.
Right.
Stitches the bike together, and then they inject the resin cold. It's really, really clever. We should actually put a link below to them building the frame set.
I think they are one of the very few manufacturers that are actually making carbon bikes in Europe as well.
Yes, they're factories in France and Slovenia, I think. I'm saying.
I was actually reading about it earlier. They use, what's unique to them as well is that they use like elite motorsport, so I guess like F1 techniques with their carbon and like aerospace and things like that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people say that because it's very basic. You could do, there's loads of companies that said they do stuff for Formula One and it could be something really basic, but theirs is really unique in terms of the way they make the frames.
Yeah.
And their own forks, and hence why.
Well, to be fair, it's one of the few bikes that you see, and in the flesh, it does just look. Yeah. You can just see that like quality oozes from it. It's absolutely beautiful.
Worked out quite well because I think the final weight of the bike was 7.08 kilos.
Was it?
For a disc brake.
That's amazing.
Bike,
it is very small.
Yeah, it was really small.
It's my size.
Group set wise, obviously specs below, but SRAM Red 1x. We ran it with Zipp 353 NSWs, which are absolutely insane wheels.
They're the fancy ones, aren't they?
Yeah, really fancy, really expensive. But yeah, just really nice. James races with the same wheel set as well.
Right. James Jobber, the shop manager, backyard shop manager, who also
keeps everything running.
He's like a proper pro racery person.
Yeah, he races for a Conti team, but like all over the world. They're doing quite well at the moment, yeah.
So, Pressfit BB.
Bottom record trainer, yes.
Not a T47?
Well, to T47, obviously anything like that, as good as it is, would have to be made out of alloy or in JGM's case, titanium, and then molded into the frame.
I guess
the way they make the frame sets is just not. But Pressfit's not a bad thing if it's made well.
When this video goes out, we won't have talked about T47s yet. So in a later video, or actually at least 2 later, maybe 3 later videos, we're specifically talking about T47 BBs and how they differ from press fit ones.
So yeah, get more in depth of that. You went for power meter as well. Gear ratios on here for the rear for the cassette was a 1036, so you need a different mech. How you can see it on the SRAM Red mechs, the black one is 36 tooth, and the silver, like from where it attaches to the frame, it's silver for the 33 tooth mechs.
Is literally the only difference. So that's, I guess that's
it's instead of having a longer cage, it's got a longer, like, what do you call it, like an arm.
Right.
So it moves the mech into a different position.
So but it's the equivalent of like the old school like short cage and long cage.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, got you.
Tire wires and went for Hutchinson Fusion 5, so I'm not mistaken.
Weren't they Goodyears?
Oh yeah, actually
It's Goodyears.
Yeah, Goodyears, yes. Eagle F1s. Sealant pouring in. We've had quite a few people commenting on that in the past. With the new Silka's road specific sealant, it's got carbon fiber like hairs, as you call it, inside.
It looks like gone off milk.
Yes.
Like lumpy.
It looks terrible.
Yeah.
But they claim, and loads of people have tested, it will seal a 7mm hole up to 100 psi. So it's the first like road bike specific sealant, and we've had really good results. We've not actually had a single puncture yet on James's bike or anybody we fitted it to. So we'll see how it goes, but but you can't stick it through the valve. It'll clog the valve straight away.
Right.
So it has to be poured in.
Have you had any disasters with that yet?
Yes. Several times. That's why I'm wearing flip-flops, because all my shoes are ruined from sealant going over them.
So it's a messier way of putting the sealant in, but because it's that sealant which is so good, there's just no other option.
Yeah, there's no other.
I guess shaking it. That's I guess the spread.
Just to spray it around, make sure it seals.
Yeah.
Rotors. 160, 160. Yeah. You could have gotten away with 140, 140. Looks a bit neater, but 160, 160 is the standard SRAM sends out with the group sets. But also, if you are going to do longer descents and you're a bit more nervous, you can hold on to the brakes more. It just dissipates the heat a little bit better.
Right.
It works better, So we've gone for that. Cassette going on.
On the SRAM cassette, because that's like a one-piece cassette, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, XDR. So they've done it that way so they can run a 10-tooth cog. And 10-tooth cog is smaller than what a normal freer body is. So for XDR, the freer body is shorter. So the last few teeth's not actually on the freer body.
Got you.
And that's how they've gone around it.
And it's one piece that doesn't have like a little. You literally put it on and just screw it straight in. So
and it doesn't have a direction or anything. It's just
The cassette has a thread built in.
But you have to be careful. If you do it slightly skew, the threads are really thin, and you cross-thread it. You can throw the cassette and the freer body away. I've had a customer come in that's tried to fit one himself.
Okay.
And that's actually, it was a disaster for him because he had to buy a new freer body. And get a new cassette. Because you couldn't risk putting on another one. Now on his bike, I think the freer body was something like £240.
Oh, Jesus.
And SRAM Red cassette at near 400 quid. So it was a very, very expensive day out.
One buy on road bikes.
Yes.
You started talking about it, we didn't finish this.
So 44 twos with a 10 is similar to a 50-12. Now I know most people on a compact will have a 50-34, 11-28 or 11-32. But by going with that ratio, it just means that you're losing one gear, which generally would be sprinting past 70 kilometers an hour. Just don't need it.
Well, I do.
Well, you ride really fast, but like us mere mortals, they just enjoy it. But it made the bike a lot lighter. No front mech. Smaller chainring in the front.
Does it make a lot lighter? Does it actually make that much of a difference?
I haven't done the exact weights. It's quite a bit, but it's easier.
We should have a look. We should have a look.
Quite a lot of new people during the pandemic getting into bikes. It sounds really silly, but it's been really easy. We don't have to explain to them about cross-chaining. You don't have to explain to them why there's a big ring and a small ring. All you do is except for you, right hand lever makes it go.
Right hand up the cassette.
No, right hand down the cassette.
Down the cassette.
Left the cassette. Or you can swap it around like what you've done, which is absolutely mental. But it's just easier. Like my wife's base, harder, easier, and it just makes it a lot simpler. There are a few brands like Velo. They do a bike that's specifically built just to take one by chainrings. And by doing that, they've actually been able to make the bike more symmetrical and beef out the bottom bracket, so it makes it a lot stiffer and stronger at the bottom. And then allows them to make it more comfortable in other areas. So it's a more comfortable bike where you lose no performance. So it's the future.
Anything else to add?
No, just...
that is a very good looking bike.
Yeah.
Very good looking. That is another video wrapped up. Any questions, put them in the comments below.
We'll try and get back to you.
And we will have some more of these coming up soon. Thank you very much. See ya.